When you come to New Hampshire, love the beauty, visit, love the beaches. We have got beautiful beaches. I know the water's very frigid, even in late August. Water's very cold, but they're beautiful, clean. The water's clean and crisp. You're not going to find any kind of crud in the water off the coast of Hampshire or Maine. The water's frigid. I do. I jump in the water, and I have, and it's frigid. Got to be hardy in order to handle it. And a lot of people, you got a lot of vacationers here during the summer months, and we got a lot of vacationers during the winter. New England is just a beautiful part of the country. It really is. But New Hampshire, we got 18 miles. Some people will laugh. 18 miles of coastline. That's it. 18 miles, and it spans, I think, 4 towns. That's it. And it's simply because the state and how it's, the borders are drawn out. That's all we got is 18 miles. But at least we have some seacoast. There are a lot of states that are landlocked and don't have any seacoast. Well, there are other states that have a lot of seacoast. I know Carolinas have a lot of seacoast, and Florida obviously has a lot. But we don't. We've got 18 miles. New York, actually, state of New York actually does not have a lot of sea. The reason why New York has what some people would say a lot of seacoast is simply because of the island, and that's it. And yeah, I mean it's a very large island. It's huge, and it's an island, so it's surrounded by the sea. So that gives them a lot of seacoast. Of course, you have to go out to like the Hamptons and. But it's there. Most of New York State is pretty much landlocked. Like it's kind of like New Hampshire. If you look at it on a map, there's a small opening at one corner of the state that opens out onto the sea, but blocks a lot of that. So in order to really get to the beach, the sea beaches in New York, you got to go out to the Hamptons or all the way out to Montauk Point and things like that. So New York doesn't have a lot of really seacoast either. The Hudson have a lot of. New Jersey's got without New York Island, New Jersey has more seacoast than New York, the state of New York. All right, I I know New Jersey's Chris Christie's playground, but. And I know some people have said, the Jersey beaches, the Jersey Shore is very pretty, but it's still New Jersey. I'd rather just do Massachusetts. And Massachusetts got a lot of sea. Got some really nice beaches. They've got Horseheads Beach, which is really nice. And the water down there, actually, which southern coast of Massachusetts, Horseheads, water's not nearly as cold as it is. Water is a little bit warmer, more palatable, and it's a small beach. It really is a small. It's like a cove. It's a small beach. Horseheads Beach. Well, it's close to the border with Rhode Island. And it's kind of hidden, but it's really pretty. If you're ever in that area, you might want to check it out. I know a lot of people will go to Provincetown, otherwise known as P-Town, on the Cape. The Cape has got lots of beaches. People make their way up to the point or the tip of the Cape, Provincetown or P-Town, and P-Town has very nice beaches, multiple. I emphasize multiple because P-Town, some people who are not familiar with P-Town, all they'll think about is that P-Town is a gay haven or something. And there is a lot of gay, homosexual, vacationing there. But the interesting thing is, I've been to P-Town twice. Times I've been to P-Town. P-Town is this mix and dichotomy. It is a family destination, believe it or not. They have family campgrounds, and you're walking in through, and P-Town is very historical. And you'll see families vacationing in Provincetown. And there are activities and businesses and things like that geared towards families. And everything that you might think, oh my God, a bunch of gay guys around, you don't see that. A lot of clubs, they really do. So as is with anywhere, I know it can happen after clubs close. I've worked in them as a bouncer, Austin, and I know what happens in those places. So and I used to go to clubs when I was in my youth back in central New York, and I know what happened then after the clubs closed. So yeah, probably going to have that in P-Town anywhere. But it isn't this lavish gay display that some people have said to me when no, that doesn't happen there. If it has, it hasn't happened while I was there. Didn't see it. What I did see during the day and on the beach that I went to was families. Great heterosexual families. That's what I saw. I can only report to you what I see. It's P-Town. It takes a long time to get there. It really. I mean, it's not like hours or anything, but the Cape is a lot bigger than it looks, and it's kind of a stop and go, boring drive. If you have to drive there, I'm gonna say I wouldn't really suggest it. To tell you the truth, it is a terrible drive. The second time I went, we took the Boston Harbor. That was a lot better. That also, on the ferry, you're going to arrive at a certain time, you're going to leave at a certain time. So there time ferries over there, so you don't get to stick around and see the nightlife. During the day, P-Town is very much a family establishment, family-oriented vacation town. Water's cold on the beach. Water's cold. There's no debauchery happening on the beaches. I didn't see that at all. I don't know. Again, after the bars close and everybody falls out of the bars and they're drunk, maybe it happens. Families are up and about during the day. It's just like another family resort town. It really history. It's very pretty. It really is. I don't know about any place else. Any other places that have this dual life? I don't know. What's New York's got one, right? Not Rikers Island. What's it? There's a place in New York that I understand is the same thing. Or is it in New Jersey? I wouldn't be surprised if it was in New Jersey, actually. But anyway, I would the Fire Island. That's it. Knew I'd remember it. Or is that right? Fire. I don't. If I got it wrong, somebody give me a call. 3-835-3224. Did I miss that? I haven't been there, so I don't know if that's the right place or not. Or I know a lot of things, but as I tell everybody, I don't know everything. I don't. I never act like I know everything. I still learn. I still learn on a daily basis. You could say that in a good way, I'm still growing. No, I'm not. I'm done growing up, but I'm still growing. We have people in this country that are 60 years old and they haven't grown up. Now, with that said, they're 60 years old, they're not grown up, and they're raising kids. And they raise kids who didn't grow up. Now, look, as I was saying in the last segment, you pay attention to this, folks. Understand this. This is what our big problem. When every society has basal or causal problems. The very basal problem, or the problem right on the base, that supports a lot of the other problems that society has. It's just the human condition. We really do. Before I get into my diatribe, finishing that, we got another call here. 347, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
I just want to say that I'm a huge Donald Trump fan, and I can't wait to vote for him in New York City.
New York City. Hey, did I get that right about, is there a place in New York called Fire Island?
Yeah, why?
Oh, okay. Now, where is that actually? Is that on the coast, the seacoast?
Yes, it is.
Is that on the big island?
Yeah, I'm actually located in the Bronx, and I have to tell you right now, since the day that Donald Trump has announced his candidacy, everybody in my family and all my friends said, okay, we got to vote for this guy, because we know him personally. He's from New York, and we see all the buildings he's produced and all the jobs he's created, so we know besides what the media will say, we know what this guy can do, and I believe him. I don't trust any of these politicians. They're just all talk, no action, and I've never been this excited before. I'm a Democrat, and I just can't wait to switch and become a Republican or an independent and vote for him.
You're a Democrat, and
yeah.
Ronald Reagan had a lot of what they call the blue dog Democrats voting here. Ronald Reagan Democrats. Now, as I said, I know Donald Trump's business career and his New York City is his home base. Now, Do you think? Because Ted Cruz made a comment about this in the last debate.
Yeah, he
about
did.
New York City, about New York values, and most people around New York and New England knew exactly what he was saying. He wasn't saying upstate New York. He was specifically referring to New York City.
Yes.
And New York City, obviously, you in Brooklyn. You said Brooklyn, right?
No, Bronx.
Bronx. Okay, the other B.
Born and raised, yeah.
So you're living under de Blasio.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very liberal, and some people call him a communist.
He is. And you know what I have to say about that? I mean, what Ted Cruz said about, the liberal ideas and ideology, I mean, he did have a point. I mean, there's a lot of people in New York City that I feel like it's not even, you can't even blame them, because what do they see on TV? What do they see in the mainstream media? Most of the mainstream media, most of the news channels are liberal stations. So obviously what they see, and basically most of the Democrat supporters, what they usually see are liberal views, and they really don't pay attention to Fox, because the mainstream media is always saying, oh, Fox is not good, and all these celebrities, all these high entertainers are always forcing their supporters' views on liberal views, and I mean, it's just not right for me. I'm just looking at it as a realist here. I see a businessman who has succeeded, who's not a politician, who's not getting any money from other people, and I really believe he doesn't even have to do this. That's one of the main reasons why I like Donald Trump. He doesn't have to do this. He could just be relaxing with his wife, his kids, and just having a good life. But he decides to devote his time into helping America, and that's the end of the day. That's what truly matters. All these other politicians are just running because they have to represent their field. I'm not voting for Donald Trump because he's a Republican. I'm voting for Donald Trump because he's Donald Trump. That's the main reason.
You trust that he will do what he say?
Yes.
Trump tried to get
100%,
it done.
100%. Just look through his record. It's not. I mean, we could look at those whole bankruptcies, which that's what's so funny. Even I love him so much because even though hundreds of deals, many buildings he's produced, many companies he's made, they always talk about the 4 bankruptcies that he's had.
Well,
and that's just so sad.
It is, and I have to remind people that Donald Trump has never filed personal bankruptcy. Those are business bankruptcies, and what people don't understand about business bankruptcy is that there are 2 different kinds. There's the kind that liquidates the company goes out of business and gets liquidated. But the other kind, which is used quite often, is called reorganization, and that is a way to use the legal system to force creditors to renegotiate when they wouldn't renegotiate before. That's why a lot of companies do the bankruptcy route, it isn't because the company isn't viable anymore, but there are